Obviously, you know of me. If you have never actually met me, I'm the one behind the monitor that helps you with Concur anytime things go wrong, you can't find something. I'm the one you typically are in contact with. Um, this is very similar situation on doing your P card or any of the travel expenses that you have already done as a delegate or just for your own self. So most of this is going to be repetitive, but if you have any questions, because there are a few new things here, by all means, just put a question in the chat or we'll do a little Q&A at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Um, what I'm going to show you first is the Procurement Business Services webpage, if it will actually share. There we go. We have made some updates. We've made sure to update all of our information on our webpage. There's a notification right here that will take you straight to the employee reimbursements area. If you have a saved tab, it's easy to get to the information that you need to go to. We have right here under pay and purchase vouchers and requisitions. We'll have all of our information regarding employee reimbursements. Open up this additional little tab. Here we go. And this goes over the new procedure, as Brittany said, effective tomorrow. It's basically the way that in the event of those emergency situations where you do have to purchase something for your department or for one of the professors, and someone doesn't have a P card or someone else has the P card and there's no time for a requisition, that's what these situations are for. Obviously, we do want to minimize those and make sure that doesn't happen too often. So we do have our information here. What you can also do though is right here where it says general procurement. If you'll click on that, it'll take you to the training manual. It's not a huge manual, it's 7 pages with screenshots. And it's right here, employee reimbursement manual. And it's going to go over pretty much everything that we're going to cover today. Lots of pretty pictures, words. This is stuff that most of you already know how to do. So I'm not going to really read through this, but we are going to go through the process and I'm going to show you what the actual process is like. So if I can move that screen over real quick for you. And while we're waiting for that to load, if everyone could just type your name into the chat so we can kind of get an attendance thing and see who all actually did show up for the training, that'd be helpful. Thank you. I'm assuming, and I know it's a horrible thing to do, but I'm assuming most of you know how to get to Concur. If you don't, let us know and I can make sure to show you. But once you get to Concur itself, you'll have your normal screen that you always look at. We're bypassing the requests. As Brittany said, this is for employment reimbursement. You don't have to put in a request for it. This is something that happens as request is usually before purchase. That's something that you can't really plan on. So we're just going to go straight to open reports, which you can also just do new at the top for an expense. And we're going to create a new report. This is where things are going to be a little different. So we're going to change the policy right here to employee reimbursement. And this is what's going to affect how the approval process goes, as well as the overall view of everything. As you can tell, it basically tells you exactly what you need to do. So report name is going to be REIMB, last name, and then month and year. Purchase of the date, we're going to say I made that purchase yesterday. Justification, what is it you're buying? You know, why did you have to go out and get something and you didn't have a P card reason? The reason you didn't have your P card or you don't have a P card in general, you can say it wasn't available, someone else had it. If you don't have a P card in your available to you at all in your department, which you should have, just let us know why you didn't have that P card. In some cases, it might be an issue where we might need to look at why you didn't have one and make sure that there are P cards available for you. Was food purchased? You'll just select yes or no. It doesn't change the header. If you pick yes versus no, it's the same. See, that one's yes, this one's no. If you do buy food, what's the justification of it? Just like with the P card, if you're purchasing food, we need to know why it was purchased, the 5 Ws, why it was, who all attended, what was the purpose of that particular gathering, all the information we normally do require. Your fund org program should generally look like this, where it says Concur default. That's fine. You can allocate it when you to whatever folk you're going to be using when you're actually putting in those particular expenses. If you scroll down though, you'll see where it says travel allowance. It's defaulted at no. I do not require a travel allowance, and that's where it should stay. And then you're going to create a report. So right here, got that. We have the title of it. You can always go back into where it says report number, make it changes to your report header if you need to. We're going to add an expense. And for those of you that are accustomed to detailing out your P card, this is a very similar setup. It's going to be looking at the accounting code. In this case, we're just going to pick one at random. Transaction date, right there. You'll put in the vendor name, and of course, we'll just say it was Walmart right there. It's just like your expense reports and P card. Everything is the exact same. It'll tell you what you do need, what you don't need, the amount spent, description. I've got that one in there. We'll just use that one. So on your FOAP, if it doesn't automatically give you one that you've used before, of course, you can search through it by scrolling, or you can just key in the actual FOAP and then select it. There. Same for the org and program. We're just going to do that to get them all filled in. You're going to add your receipt, upload that image right there. In the comment section, we try to put as much information as possible. When we go through these, the more information we have, the better we can review these and go through it. And that means it also doesn't hold up the process if we have to email you to ask more questions. So there's no such thing as too much information on this. We do want to know like the purpose of the purchase, why a P card wasn't used or why you didn't have a requisition, and things like this. We're also going to ask questions, like if the receipt doesn't really clearly show it, make sure that the image is completely clear. We do want to see the vendor, the date, time. We want to be able to see it's itemized as well. Sometimes we get in images and part of it's cut off and we can't really see it. And in some cases, we have some images where it'll show like page 1 of 2. Even if page 2 has nothing on it except maybe one line at the bottom of the email, we want that on there just for the continuity of having all the documentation. Once you've got this in here, we're going to save that. Of course, it's still saying I need to put in the receipt. Both of these alerts are just for the receipt purposes right there. Once you've got that in there, you're just going to submit this report. It's going to go through the supervisor, the financial manager over that particular FOAP, and it's going to go to the travel office or procurement office for review and approval. Again, like I said, this is very similar to the P card and travel for those that you've done that. And from the few of the names that I do see, most of you are very familiar with this process. One thing to be sure of is you can always make sure that the FOAP did go correctly. I know that there are some users out there that have a pre-programmed in FOAP. If you do have that, then it's going to automatically allocate any purchase to that one FOAP, even if it doesn't need to be. So you'd have to go in and change that, but you can always check just to make sure by going to report details, allocation summary, and it'll tell you the FOAP that's being charged or if it's split up. So that's one way to always be able to verify that everything is being charged to the correct folk. If it's not, then you can go back into the actual expense item, hit allocate, and then add the folk that it does need to go to. And that's just for the ones that are a set folk in your profile, where everything goes to that one folk because everything is just set there. You don't get funding from other sources. That's really it. There's not a whole lot else extra to that. As I said, you submit your report. After this, goes to the approval process. You can always check to see where this is in that approval process. Again, go to report details and you go to report timeline. So it'll tell you supervisor approval. Once I submit this, it'll fill that in with a gray circle. It goes green once my supervisor has approved it. It'll then go to the financial manager and then for review. And you can see where it is in this process. So that way you'll know how much longer it is until you do get reimbursed. And on the reimbursement, we do reimbursements once a week, just like we do for all of our vendors and for any other travel reimbursements. We will issue out or initiate any ACH payments on a Thursday, and it will take up to about 2 business days for those to show up in your bank account if it's ACH direct deposit, which I do highly recommend getting if you don't have that already, just because you will get that a lot faster since we will be outsourcing check payments and it will take a little bit longer for you to get those. Any questions? I'll let Brittany take the lead on pulling that up.
I actually don't see any questions in the chat. So,
okay.
but if anybody has questions, you can either ask. I'm sure other people have the same question or want to know the answer, or you can put it in the chat. Or I will take that to me. We just did a great job.
I think it's too early for them.
I understand. I'm on my second cup of coffee.
All right. Well, even if you don't have any questions now and you think of something later, reach out to us. Be more than happy to help you with this, answer any questions you might have. And and if you can't get a hold of me, obviously you can get a hold of Brittany or Stephanie Campbell. All 3 of us are here to help you with this. All right. Well, thank you all very much for your time.
Oh, we do have a
Oh,
question. We do have a
oh,
question,
okay.
which is a good one. It's very valid. Do we need a food form as well for like food purchases? So I would say the food form is actually a very good tool. It's a resource for all departments to use. So if that's your consistent internal procedures, I would advise that you continue using the food form even for employee reimbursements, because you know that the 5 Ws are already outlined on that form, and it's something that you can keep track of and then just upload it for documentation purposes. So that is a good question. I would advise to still upload your food form if you have it, if that's your internal procedures. And if it's not right now, please look into the food form. We have it on our website as a resource to obtain the 5 Ws. So please look into the food form. Thank you. All right, so I'll just end the training. I'll stop the recording and then we'll keep track. Oh, there's one about tax reimbursement. So there is no tax for any SFA purchases. So the only exception is business meals. So we are still a tax exempt entity. And so any purchases that are made still need to be tax exempt, or at least the tax will not be reimbursed, except with the exception of business meals. So that's another good question. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. Again, y'all know how to reach us if you have any questions. And we'll keep track, we'll send an email once these are published for you to maybe share with others if needed. Okay, hope everyone has a good day.